With the cool mountain air blowing in our faces, my friend Matt and I were having the time of our lives. Little did we know what was to come, nor the impact that the experience would have on our lives. At first, I had my doubts about climbing out onto the roof that night, but I was actually starting to think that maybe I was wrong about the whole thing. The view from up there was breathtaking. We could see all of the mountains for what seemed to be miles away. Until it happened. All we could hear was the gusting sound of wind blowing from all different directions. From what seemed to be out of nowhere, the startling sound of a man's voice cut into the tranquility like nails on a chalkboard. Down below was the figure of a small man who was shouting at the top of his lungs, "Get down from there now!" I glanced over at my friend, only to find him staring back at me in complete terror. Time seemed to have frozen in that exact moment. What only lasted a few seconds seemed to go on forever. Panicking, we immediately made a break for our only escape, the window. It was as if everything else had disappeared and the only thing left was the small box of light shining off in the distance. Diving inside the room, the only things I remember seeing were blurred images rushing past me. We ran as if our lives depended upon it, as if someone was chasing us from behind. Sprinting downstairs, we tried to blend in the best we could. However, it was extremely difficult, considering the guilty looks that were plastered all over our faces. Panting heavily, I tried to calm myself down, but soon found that to be nothing but a hopeless effort. No matter how hard I tried, there was no way to control the emotional storm that was building up inside of me. I sat staring off into space for quite some time, going over all the different scenarios in my head of how this was all going to turn out. Inevitably, I saw my father walking toward me with a furious expression on his face. As soon as I saw him, I knew exactly what was causing it.
What were you thinking? Well, what is your problem? You have many problems.
The man who saw us happened to be the owner of the lodge at which we were staying. He was so enraged that he threatened to kick both of our families out, even though it was only the first night that we were there. However, he ended up deciding against it in the end. Both my friend and I were sent to our rooms for the rest of the night, while everyone else was out having fun. While it sucked being all alone, the punishment could have been a lot worse, considering what had happened. While this experience caused me great amounts of fear and anxiety, looking back on it now reveals that it was completely worth it. In fact, if I could go back in time, I would do the same thing all over again. This experience helped shape me into the person I am today by teaching me to always follow my instincts. If I have a bad feeling about something, I no longer allow others to influence or change my beliefs as I once did. I was only 12 at the time. However, I'm glad that I was able to learn this sooner rather than later.
I'm the man, I'm the man. Yes I am, yes I am, yes I am. I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man.